It's June 6th, 2012. 68 years ago today, Allied forces led by American General Dwight Eisenhower embarked on the largest amphibious military operation in history, D-Day, on the beaches of Normandy, France. The Allied invasion included two phases: an airborne assault of 24,000 British, American, Canadian, and Free French airborne troops shortly after midnight, and a beach landing of infantry and armored divisions at 6:30 a.m. Roughly 160,000 troops took part, a higher number than American troop numbers at certain points during the Iraq War, and more than 195,000 sailors in more than 5,000 ships sailing across the English Channel to the French coast. Despite any opinions about the Second World War, its genesis, the conduct of Britain and other powers before its outbreak, or our shameful alliance with the Soviet Union, by 1944, there was no other choice. The Allies, including Canada, had to smash Hitler and his henchmen, one of history's most evil regimes. D-Day was just and righteous, albeit bloody and obscene. It led to the end of Nazi tyranny and fascism in Europe and launched the United States into superpower status. Another legacy of D-Day, however, and the entire Second World War for that matter, is its perversion by warmongers in years since. Now, whenever war festers and Western interests, often American, are at hand, the Second World War, the good war, is summoned by those who want more war. Because if you can ally your cause to the Allies, if you can link, through moral relevance, current events with the struggle against Nazism, you end arguments before they start. Consider the current hysteria around Iran, the latest target of American warmongers. In the neoconservative narrative, Iran in 2012 is Germany in 1933. Ahmadinejad is Hitler. Israel, Poland. Opponents to Iranian annihilation channel Neville Chamberlain, the 20th century's uber appeaser. Hysteria about Iran's nuclear ambitions flicker on TV screens across the United States on a nightly basis, and within the editorial pages of the New York Times and elsewhere. Ask a typical American today about Iran, and they'll likely parrot misinformation about nuclear bombs and terrorist ambitions. But the reality is less sensational. In February of 2012, James Clapper, U.S. Director of National Intelligence, told the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence that, quote, "We don't believe they've actually made the decision to go ahead with a nuclear weapon." Clapper's worldwide threat assessment reinforces the point. Quote, "We do not know if Iran will eventually decide to build nuclear weapons." With the entire U.S. intelligence apparatus at his disposal and briefings from intelligence services worldwide, Clapper knows far better than Fox News, Wolf Blitzer, or the New York Times. Moreover, in December, Pentagon spokesman George Little said, quote, "We have no indication that the Iranians have made a decision to develop a nuclear weapon. In fact, 16 U.S. intelligence agencies do not believe Iran has decided to develop the bomb, period." But even if the Iranians did develop the bomb, why shouldn't they? America, the only nation to use nuclear bombs on fellow human beings, owns a doomsday armada of unknown strength. Israel, currently led by warmongers like Benjamin Netanyahu, owns hundreds of nuclear weapons and invades neighboring countries with impunity, most recently Lebanon, not to mention Gaza raids every now and then. Iran, by contrast, has invaded no one. Who's the real threat to peace in the region? To be clear, Ahmadinejad is no Democrat. And he's a Weasley pawn of the mullahs. But he's not crazy. Over the past few years, he's watched the United States run roughshod over 2 Arab nations while arming Israel to the teeth. Considering its situation, if Iran was building a bomb, it would be acting rationally. What would the Americans do if faced with similar geographic pressures? That's the reality, but reality bleeds in our media-drenched culture of fear. The war drums beat against Iran. It's probably just a matter of time. And when it happens, talking heads, neocons and such, will compare the invaders of Iran to the hardy tars of June 6, 1944, who risked all on the beaches of Normandy 68 years ago today.